we're going to talk about the VA. The number of veterans committing suicide has gone down over the last couple of years, but the method in which we're screening these veterans and even the military personnel transitioning back into civilian life is not working effectively. The funding is there, but it is not the main problem. There is plenty of funding for the VA, but it's not enough to cover the entire VA system and keep up with the amount of veterans committing suicide each year. Since 2018, the number has gone down. It is no longer 22 a day, but now more like 17, which is good, but even one is too many. There is something with veterans that is causing them to commit suicide more frequently. One of the problems that is dredged up in an article that I found is that they no longer have a mission in civilian life. It is not something that they're there to accomplish. And that is a problem. Another problem that the VA is having is that more and more military personnel transitioning out and becoming veterans are no longer seeking veteran affairs doctors. They're going to outside sources, outside doctors. A big statistic that's happening right now is the younger generation of military personnel are committing suicide more frequently. The younger generation. The generation out of all of them is the youngest, and they're more likely to own a firearm. They're more likely to commit suicide. There was an article that said that just because they're more likely to own a firearm does not make them suicidal, but if they are, it makes them more successful in their suicide attempts. It's sad because I have witnessed this. My husband is a Marine, and he has gone to the VA many times just for a physical to get disability, and he has waited hours upon hours upon hours just to get a physical for disability. This is frustrating and makes it so that he does not want to go back. We have made this hard because there is not enough to go around. So I've read that there is a new plan in place by a gentleman who does all kinds of research for the military and the government and all kinds of things like that. And it is to screen more of the military personnel before they even get out, and screening the veterans that have been out only in the last little while. And it's just a more in-depth screening to make sure that they're figuring out what they want to do in life and they are going about actually doing this. They're starting before you even get out. There are classes that you have to take before you can even transition back into civilian life. You have to pass them. And if you don't pass them, then you have to take them again, or you have to talk to someone in order to be able to leave. Since October of 2018, they have screened veterans. They have screened 3.8 million veterans, which is fantastic, but it's still causing a problem because more and more military personnel are going to those outside doctors that we've talked about before. Another point is that males are more likely to commit suicide than the females. Not saying that they don't, but they're more likely to. Again, it's not about funding. It's about figuring out the best place to put this funding and putting the people who are at higher risk first, and the people who need the help first. It's frustrating to know that there are so many people who have defended our country and defended our freedom, and they are still having a hard time finding the help that they deserve. Now, there is a plan. They need to implement this plan. It is a new plan because the plans that they had before were no longer working, so screening more rigorously before they get out of the military has to be key. It has to happen. So as you can see, there's a plan in place and a majority of the funding is taken care of, but it's just not enough to keep up with the amount of suicides that are happening. Even if the number has fallen since 2017 from 22 to 17, one is too many of our veterans to commit suicide a day. There needs to be more awareness for this, even through the VA.